those of you who do not know me, my name is Katie Lortz, and I am the orchestra director here. It's my privilege to introduce Rosalia Schultz. She's been at Brookside for 13 years, and she's been a wonderful colleague and a friend. We're here to celebrate Rosalia. During the last school year, Rosalia was awarded a half-year sabbatical, and she began it in January, and I have to tell you, I am absolutely amazed at what she accomplished. She had 4 major projects. The first project was publishing 8 interactive music lessons on the Smart Exchange website. So this is for a smart board, if anybody knows what smart boards are, but she spent probably weeks, but she showed me some of the lessons that she did. These are music lessons that are on the smart board, and she couldn't find pictures of some of the things, so she actually drew them herself. And it's just amazing what she did. And these are music lessons for the early childhood students. Then her second project was to compose the music for a new chapel, which will be presented in February for first graders, and it's called The Adventures of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin Bunny, so we look forward to seeing and hearing the music then. Her third project was to publish a new Brookside songbook. Many of you may not know that there's a tradition at Brookside that all of the music teachers compose music for their chapels and major performances. Quite a few years ago, the teachers that were there, Carolyn Tower and Connie Height, decided to do a Brookside songbook and included all of their songs that they had composed. And so Rosalia, rightly so, decided it was time for a new songbook because all of the music teachers have done quite a few songs. And so she compiled all of these songs that the general music teachers have composed, along with a few favorites from past times. And so there's 52 songs, and it's going to be a Brookside Songbook Volume 2 that will be published soon. And then we're here tonight to hear Rosalia's final project. She composed 6 vocal art songs with lyrics and piano accompaniment. The lyrics are from a collection of poetry titled Fresh Flowers for My Children by Catherine Parker Gordon. And Rosalia will be singing her songs, and she'll be accompanied by our very own Jim Gabriel, who is the vocal teacher in the upper school. Please join me in welcoming Rosalia, Jim Gabriel, and Anna, who is going to sing the first song.
chorus for 2 years. This is her second year. And I wanted her to sing with me for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a great opportunity for her to sing and for me to sing together. I grew up, of course, singing and playing with my dad, and so it's really special. I kind of choked up a little bit at the end just thinking about how special that felt to me. But just a little bit of history of the Ave Maria. It has always been tradition for me to begin a concert with an Ave Maria of some sort. When I was at my home parish downriver, I would give benefit concerts to our community for our sister parishes, and it just got to be a habit for me to begin all of my concerts with a different Ave Maria. And it was always a special thing for me. And so when we got married, I also composed all of the mass parts, and I wanted to compose my own Ave Maria as well. And so that's the history behind this particular piece, and the reason I'm singing it tonight, because it goes hand in hand with what I'm doing here tonight with all of my pieces, and because it was a very special piece that I had originally written. So, composition to me is something that came as an adult. I think I may have been interested in composing when I was a child. I had tinkered a little bit, and like a lot of kids do, make up songs, and melody sticks with you, and it was kind of fun. It wasn't until I was in my 20s I had met this lady who she wrote a lot of poems. Most of them were sacred poems, just religious poems, and she asked me if I would set them to hymns. And I remember telling her that there was no way I could compose music because I'd never done it before. The only experience I'd ever had was transcribing music for my dad. My dad had this repertoire of music because he plays the accordion. He plays professionally. But he never had the opportunity to find music anywhere. And finding accordion music is not very easy. So he would find a recording of something, and he would say, "Here, I need the music for it." And I remember being 16, 17 years old thinking, okay. So I would put the cassette in, and I'd play it, rewind, play it, rewind, play it, rewind. And I transcribed so many pieces for him. And that's kind of how I started listening to pieces and how they were organized. And I would remember putting things together and thinking, he'll learn this part, and then I'll just skip this part because he's not going to want to play this part. And I got to know his style and what he liked and whatnot. So that's kind of where that came along. Fast forward to my time at Brookside, and then the collaboration with my colleagues was like none other. Writing music for our own chapels was so much fun. I started writing music now for my students, and I thought, wow, this is really a lot of fun. And then fast forward again to last semester having the sabbatical. I couldn't use that time and not compose some music. And so I found a set of pieces. I was really lucky to have found this book. This book was not something I came across. I had just searched public domain. I wanted to find some children's poems, but I didn't want to find anything that was, I wanted it to be child-centered, but I didn't want it to be sung by a child. I wanted it to be sung by an adult, hence the term vocal art songs. And art songs are songs that are meant to be played or accompanied by piano and meant to be sung in a recital. So they're not tied to operas, they're not arias, they're not big pieces of work, they're just little, almost like a little vignette, just pieces that express the poetry. And you'll find lots of poetry from Robert Browning. I mean, there's so many beautiful pieces that have been turned into vocal art songs over the years. And so I looked through this collection, online, mind you, and looked, and there were over 132 collections. I remember counting them all. And only this one stood out to me, Fresh Flowers for My Children. Even though many of these are written in short story form, a lot of them are also written in poetry form, and they were short enough to be able to put into music. And it wasn't just one of those things where I looked at a piece and said, yeah, I'll do this one. I really had to study it. I had to look at the stanzas. I had to look at how long it was, how short it was, how I could organize the piece to make sense. And oftentimes, it's the text that really helps to organize the music, because it's the text that gives you the personality for it. So this first piece that I'm singing is called What Is It Makes Me Happiest? This one is from a child's perspective, and he or she is wondering, gee, what is it that makes me happiest? And I have this ABA form. I have it in a meter called 6/8 for anyone who's musically centered. And so you have a feel of a lilt, but there are also what we call 2s against 3s. And so I put in the accompaniment a lot of just little contrasting pieces, melodic pieces and rhythmic pieces to coordinate with the vocal piece. And I cannot tell you how much fun I've had collaborating with this guy, because I don't write these songs for myself. I write them to share, and to be able to perform them and to share them with the community is such a wonderful treat. So without further ado, I think we'll get started. What is it makes me happiest? Is it my last new toy? Is it my bouncing ball or my hoop I follow every day? Is it my puzzles or my books, my pleasant solitaire, my dolls, my kitten, or my books, my flowers fresh and fair? What is it makes me happiest? It is not one of these, yet they are treasures dear to me that never fail to please. Oh, it is looks of love from those I love the best, that follow me when I do right. These make me happy, yes. Oh, happiest. Oh, happiest. 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 These make me happiest. So as you see, it wasn't any of the toys that made the child happy. It was mom and dad and everybody. All right, the next one I wrote, this one also came really quickly to me. The first one did. And I'm not performing these in the order that I composed them. I just picked an order that I was really comfortable with in terms of the style. This one too came really quickly. I looked at the text, tried to figure out the form. This one's in a minor key. It's a lullaby about darkness, but all of these pieces have a little bit of a learning, almost like a moral to all of the stories, because it's something that the mom wants to share with her child. And the mother is telling her child that there's nothing to be afraid of in the dark, because the dark is beautiful. We need the dark to contrast the light. So that's what this one's about. I am glad it is not always light, and that the day with garment bright gently leaves us as the night falls in beauty. piece, another slow kind of a lullaby piece, is of the south wind. And again, the mood is kind of a murmuring wind. I picture it as the south wind being balmy, being warm, being breezy, and with it, it brings the scent of the season. I always feel like the south wind, you can always tell what the season is because of that south wind. The middle section moves a little bit, so you feel the wind get a little bit more animated, and then it comes back to close at the end. Ebbs and flows. tell you. Yes. And I wanted to tell you that I had the distinct pleasure. My best friend, who I met when our fathers were best friends, so we knew each other from birth, literally. She and her family moved back to Italy when she was 3. Gisela, her dad and my dad were accordion playing buddies from, I don't know, the time they were 17. Gisela came, I knew 2 weeks before my wedding that she was coming, and so I faxed her my music and I had her play it for me. And then 6 years later, when she got married, she asked me to sing it at her wedding. And it was a Jessie T. Winter grant I had received back in 2011. And that was probably one of the most wonderful experiences, was singing this song for her at her wedding and experiencing what it's like to be married in a hundreds-old church. I don't know, it had to have been at least 100 or 200 years old, in the mountains of the Abruzzi region in Rome. It's just so beautiful. So I don't know, just thought of that. I wanted to tell you that, and I had forgotten before. So, on we go. Song. Oh, I love song. This one is about a busy buzzing bee. And so the lyrics, again, they just flowed. Music is generally written, it's not a hard and fast rule, of course, there's an exception to every rule, but music is generally written in 4-measure phrases. And you usually have a question and an answer, so it's not really 4 measures, it's kind of 8 measures. And, you know, there's question and answer here and question and answer there, and then sometimes you have something that contrasts it. Well, this piece, I love the lyrics so much, and the melody just came to me, but it was written in stanzas that had 6 lines. So I had to really play around with it. And I ended up, there were 6 lines and 3 different stanzas. And so I organized it in 3 sections, but each section has kind of like an A, B, A, B, A, B, but it's a little bit different than that. And not only that, but this piece is in what we call unusual meters. It goes between an unusual 5/8 pattern into a 6/8. And so what that tells us is that it doesn't really feel, you don't feel that lilt all the time. Sometimes you feel like there was a skipped beat, but it's meant to feel like that because it's meant to kind of just imitate the bee that's buzzing around. And I love this piece in a lot of ways. This one was a hard one for me to write. But it was hard, I think, because the lyrics were happy, they were sad, they were a little bit of everything, and I couldn't quite feel it until it just came to me at one point. And the middle section has an entirely different accompaniment. It stops with the flow of the line, almost you have kind of a murmur in the left hand, and in the middle section I have more thirds, a little bit more of a melodic movement in the chords. And I felt it just because the words kind of changed a little bit, and it was almost how Mother makes me feel. And then just kind of went back into a lullaby. So, My Mother. Song. This was the first one I wrote. This one came to me in, 10 minutes, I think. This was one of those where the melody just came, the accompaniment just came, and within an hour, I had it done, and this one just inspired me to keep going. I think when I started this project, I really didn't know how far I was going to go. I identified about 5 or 6 pieces, and I thought, yeah, maybe that sounds good. But after this one was done, I think I flew. I flew until I wrote My Mother, which was the last one that I wrote. So this one's about my father. But what it also really reminds me of is our toddler, our 18-month-old toddler, because our 18-month-old toddler loves his daddy too. Loves, loves, loves. And this is sung from the point of view of a little boy. And it's really darling, it's really sweet, it's fast, it's lyrical, and has a nice little middle section. And that's one of the reasons I love working with Jim, because we really got a chance to dissect the pieces, work on them, and sometimes, because they're so new to me too, and I've never performed with them before, just hearing his input And, being a pianist myself and thinking, well, I think I kind of like this, but then hearing his expertise and going, maybe we should leave out a note here, maybe we can move this section. And it was really, really eye-opening. I loved it. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about collaborating, and I can tell you that I loved it. It was so, so much fun. All right. I shall be glad when evening comes, Papa I then shall see, Papa I then shall see, and he will take me in his arms and sit me on his knee, and sit me on his knee. The sunset sky he'll show me, and evening's brightest star. I tried to blow it out one night. Oh, then how laughed Papa! He'll tell me pretty stories and mend my last new toy, and wonder why I broke it, a careless little boy. If I am good, he'll sit with me and hear me say my prayers, and hear me say my prayers, and bid me then a kind good night before he goes downstairs, before he goes downstairs. I shall be glad when evening comes, Mama I then shall see. Can I tell you, Maria? Oh, it was for me? Oh, you can have one. This is my goddaughter. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to see all these faces. I know how hard it is to get out on a weeknight, believe me. I know all too well how hard it is to come and to get out of the house and to say, oh, okay, I've got to go. I appreciate it so much. I really, really do. I had so much fun on this project. I'm not going to lose it. I really had a lot of fun. My job is the best job in the world. I teach kids. I have children that I love to sing with, I love to play with, and I've got great colleagues on every part of campus. So having a sabbatical was such a wonderful opportunity. I can't thank Arliss enough and our faculty, our community that gave me this opportunity. I couldn't be more excited. I would love to hear your opinion on whether or not you had a favorite song, if there was one that you liked. We have some cookies and some lemonade, so please stay for a little while, and thank you.
I don't have a physical bouquet, but I have an oral bouquet for her. So we are so proud of everything that she accomplished in the past couple of months and all the things that she juggles and all the things she does. We are 20 episodes behind on our DVR, a lot of episodes. And so this is the price that we pay. To be 20 episodes behind the DVR, we get to see things like this. So thanks for coming. We have our family. Thanks.